Mark Walters with BigFanboy.com. I'm sitting here with the great Topher Grace.
Topher Grace.
That's right.
Right.
That's your new moniker. And
that would be great if you tell people that's what they should call me.
I saw Take Me Home Tonight last night, and I got to tell you, as a guy that actually was in high school in the 80s, this was pure nostalgia for me. It was a lot of fun.
Great.
I think you guys really nailed it, because I think one of the dangers of any time you're doing a period piece, especially something within the last 20 years or so, there's always that tendency to overdo it. And you guys kind of kept it pretty level-headed and pretty true.
Thank you, man. Well, I think there are two kinds of films, and I was talking about this last night at the Q&A. There are kind of films that make fun of the 80s, and then films that are of the 80s. And there actually hasn't, I don't think, been one that has done that for that period of time. There was, when we first started developing it, we would Imagine, which is Ron Howard's company. So we'd look at American Graffiti, which was made in the 70s, about the 50s. And it's really just of the 50s. They're not making fun of things in the 50s. The same thing, there was Linkletter's film, Dazed and Confused, which was in the 90s, about the 70s. If you made a movie about the 90s now, you could only make fun of it. It's hard to see until kind of, I think about 20 years have gone by, what it was. It's hard to go back to it and see what it was. But I think now we can do that about the 80s. And by the way, in 10 years, there'll be a movie about All One Night in the 90s.
That's right, yeah. You should do it. You should be the guy to do it.
No, it'll be starring some kid who's on like a Disney show.
Well, that's true, yeah. Well, Zac Efron or somebody like that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this also. Your co-star, Teresa Palmer, in the movie, who was easy on the eyes. I'm looking back at your career and I'm thinking, okay, Laura Prepon, Scarlett Johansson,
Yeah, keep it going.
It's just nothing
Kate
but
Bosworth.
ugly chicks, right? Like you don't work with anybody attractive.
Who else? Who else?
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce Dallas Howard. We didn't get to make out though.
That's true.
Kate Bosworth.
Kate Bosworth.
Who else?
Did you make out with the Predator? I can't remember. That was too intimate.
Predator.
Sorry.
Yeah. I actually wanted to do a spoof, like Funny or Die thing, so bad when that movie was coming out, about me dating the Predator. Like it's a female, like you don't know that. I don't know. Whatever. That was my idea, is that do like a really tender, like we fell in love on the set. But the Fox wouldn't let me use the mask or whatever. Maybe I'll still do that at some point.
How did you go about? I know this was based on an idea that you had originally. How did you go about when you were casting this? Like the choices that you picked for some of the people? Because I mean, it seems like Dan is just terrific. I mean, he's
Dan's
so
really
funny.
A breakout star, man. He's another great thing about these types of movies, about Dazed and Confused and American Graffiti, is they have these insane casts. I mean, Dazed and Confused has like Renee Zellweger, Ben Affleck, Matthew McConaughey. I mean, like some real Hollywood players came out of that period of time. And the same thing, I mean, if you look at American Graffiti, it's Harrison Ford and Richard Dreyfuss, Ron Howard, and Cindy Adams. Cindy Adams?
Cindy Williams?
Williams.
Yes, yeah.
And, and there's some other people in there like who have kind of their small first breaks. And I think that's what happens when Hollywood goes to make one of those films that casts, it has to be good enough that it's gonna, that's gonna call to young good actors. But you wind up having this great cross section of great actors at the time. And I always thought when we were on set that we were getting about 3 $20 million actors just like 5 years before they became 20 million, and that was kind of the point too.
Well, and I love, even the supporting cast, like Michael Biehn has always been one of my favorites. And like, is that kind of weird having Michael Biehn playing your dad, playing the guy that was Kyle Reese and, all these...
It's amazing. I mean, like, there was really... I remember when he came in and met with us about it, we thought, oh man, it was just like weird. We wanted to have someone that was of the 80s, but not uncool.
Right.
Not like a joke of the 80s. Like, he's still a great actor, cool guy, does great work, and we were so thrilled to have him, man. And Dan Fogler does an impression of Schwarzenegger that, like, they'd get together and do this thing, and I would just be dying watching them. It was great.
Yeah. Now, you have a tendency to kind of play what I like to term the misunderstood hero. Every now. As
opposed to the understood hero.
Yes. Sometimes the understood hero is boring.
Right.
So the misunderstood hero, yeah.
Right.
But occasionally you'll break out and you'll play like in Predators or in Spider-Man 3. You get to play the villain.
Right.
What to you is the most you? Like, do you feel that you kind of identify more with misunderstood hero, or do you like kind of sinking your teeth into some of those villainous roles sometimes?
Acting's like a weird thing, and I've only been doing it for about a decade now. But I think everyone it sees it differently. I mean, there's not really a definition of what acting is. to me, like, I don't see any of it as being me. You know, I think some people start seeing the character as like, well, that's really who I am. And, you know, I have all these different facets of my personality. They're not all great. And similarly, when people say, like, do you do, a lot of agents like to say, like, do you do comedies or dramas? And it's like, you know, I don't know. I mean, some days I'm like kind of dramatic, and some days I'm, you know, I like joking around. So I think it's all the same thing, kind of, but that's probably not the right answer. But
Well, I mean, I guess, is there a particular type of role that you enjoy playing more than others?
the ones I get paid more to do.
The ones you get paid more. Okay, so listen to that, Hollywood. You know, also you come from a background where you grew up in Connecticut. You went to school in Massachusetts. Am I correct?
That's right, and New Hampshire.
Right, and you were mentioning last night in the Q&A that you actually worked at a Suncoast Video when you were younger.
That's right. Yeah, well, it's very apropos.
And we're here in a video
now.
store with there's actually videotapes at the top if you can see. But
This is a yep.
Yeah.
Look up there. Yeah.
that's right.
Hey kids.
Those
That was an old
are what's known
medium
as
in which we
relics,
used to-
ladies and gentlemen.
No,
Yes.
I was there when there were videotapes at Suncoast. I think DVDs. No, it was Laserdiscs.
Laserdisc.
Laserdiscs and videos, and everyone's like, Laserdiscs is the new thing.
That is.
Like, switch over now. I had to tell customers that, like, the whole future is Laserdiscs, and then I guess DVDs kind of like. By the way, DVDs are gone now. Right?
Yeah,
It's Blu-ray,
it's all
and that's
Blu-ray.
gonna be over in about a second.
You think so?
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it'll just
They're
stream
just going to
in.
beam
right?
it into your brain at
Yeah.
some point. You know? Well, no, they were talking about how they're going to have a Netflix button on a remote, and it's
Right.
pretty soon we're not going to have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Sorry to the people that own this store, but
No, you need these kind of stores where they have specific videos that you can't find. There will always be a home for these, but yeah, Suncoast is out of business now, I think.
yeah. Were there certain things in the movie? The reason I kind of brought up the whole, you know, when you were growing up and going to school and working at Suncoast and things like that, were there certain things in the movie that were directly based on your own personal experiences?
Oh, sure, like little things like that. But the two main things, you know, all like, there's little things I've done at a party where I thought, man, I can't believe I did that. I mean, would you say the unrecognized hero? Would you call it?
Oh, the misunderstood hero.
Misunderstood hero. I was just like straight up misunderstood. I don't know if I was a hero. I mean, I was in my own mind, but I have plenty of research in terms of being awkward at parties in my early 20s. But I think like the two things that are biggest about the film, which is one that he doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, and that he's brilliant, are both not me. You know, this guy is a brilliant guy he's kind of more like kids today, really. I think there's some huge statistic about kids living with their folks after college, and you know, because of the economy not knowing what they want to do. And so we want to take kind of a character like that, but put him in the go-go 80s. It's kind of the worst time that someone could have that problem, juxtaposed with how great everyone else is doing.
Well, we've kind of come full circle. I mean, just with the economy and things being the way they are, you know, that was one of our worst times for the economy. There's also a thing in the movie that I actually thought was really cool, and that was you have a line where you ask Teresa Palmer, if I had asked you out in high school, would you have said yes? And I always thought you never see that in those types of stories. And she basically is like, no. And it's a very, you know, it's a very kind of a bit of truth.
By the way, I
in that
asked
film.
Tez, who plays the character. Tez is Teresa's nickname.
Yeah.
I asked her the same question. It's got the same answer.
Yeah. But there is something true to that, because it's
Yeah.
like at that time, you know, maybe you don't realize someone for their greatness or whatever. It kind of takes maturity and it takes age to really realize someone.
Certainly, I know a lot of people who didn't realize it until I got a TV show. No, I'm just well, I'm not kidding. But
Now you're the hometown hero.
it's tough, man. I go back now, and you know, everyone's so nice. I was a loser, like right up to getting the show. That's the thing, is I think I had a growth spurt. I was really short when I was younger too, even when I went to college. So I like had a growth spurt and got my own show in the same year.
Yeah.
I remember going back home and being like, whoa, those tables have turned. Like it was weird how fast that. But in terms of the film, I love that scene. I think that those two characters really love each other's honesty, and that's what you're craving. And we were calling that period of time in your life the second puberty.
Yeah.
Where just like the first puberty, you think everyone has it figured out except for you. You're grasping at kind of an identity, and what she's really attracted to in him is his honesty, and of course he's not being fully honest with her. And what he likes about her too is that, you know, what's so great about Teresa as an actor is that she kind of, I don't know how you felt about this, but at the beginning of the film, she seems like she's going to play that like kind of up on a pedestal, like Mercedes from License to Drive or something. And then it actually gets really deep and real at a certain point.
Yeah.
Probably at the point you're talking about. And she's cool enough to say, no, I wouldn't have dated you.
Yeah.
which is ballsy.
It's nice to have that kind of truth in a movie. So real quickly, what's coming up next for you? You got a couple projects in the works?
Yeah, I'm doing, or I just finished kind of an FBI, CIA spy movie with Richard Gere, who was amazing. We shot that all summer in Detroit, and it's good. I've seen a little bit of it. And then I did an HBO movie. It's a nonfiction book, Too Big to Fail, with the fall of Lehman Brothers. These are all tonally a little bit different from Take Me Home Tonight. And then I just did a kind of a weird indie romantic comedy where I'm kind of the antagonist.
Did I see you were doing a film that William H. Macy directed, or is that not going to happen?
I don't think he got the funding together for that.
Okay.
I really wanted to do it. I love William, and he had a great idea for a movie, and Anton Yelchin was in that. A lot of great, and we actually did some rehearsals for it, and I hope he gets the funding for that.
Yeah. Well, I love your work, man. I think you do a great job. I think you've got a real honesty to your portrayals, and it's fun seeing you do stuff on the big screen. So,
all right, thank you.
Topher Grace, the movie is Take Me Home Tonight. It opens up March 4th. Check it out. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, sir.